The story of Moses and the Ten Commandments is a completely unnecessary, ridiculous, bumbling comedy of errors and nonsense. Please keep in mind that none of this had to happen. First of all, God already shared the Ten Commandments with the Israelites directly. Not an easy feat, since God seems to be deathly allergic to humans and animals. Anything that approaches him must be stoned or shot from a distance. He even talks about himself in the third person. That's how far away he needs to be from these filthy animals that he is itching to break out against. Understandably, the people are pissing themselves and would like Moses to just go talk to God and then relay the information so they don't die. So Moses says, do not be afraid, because God is making you afraid to keep you from sinning. So I guess you should be afraid, but don't. Brilliant. But Moses went and talked to God by himself, and God shared many more commandments. Like if a slave has children, they belong to the master, and other fun things like that. Basic laws of the land. And then Moses shares them with the people, writes it down, and then celebrates with a voodoo blood ritual, and everyone bathes in blood and has a great time. But then the Lord tells Moses to come back up to the mountain where he will give him the law and the commandments in tablets of stone, which Moses already wrote down and shared with the people. But I guess these would be like the collector's edition version of the Ten Commandments. So Moses goes up on the mountain with Joshua, who I guess bursts into flames since he's supposed to go alone. And the Lord covers the mountain with cloud and fire, which causes a glitch in the matrix, since Moses then goes up the mountain a second time after already going up the mountain and then staying for 40 days and 40 nights, where God inundates him with detailed instructions on how to build everything, from an ark to a table to a lampstand, uniforms for the priests, what materials to use, exact dimensions, all the assorted gems, gold and silver, how to weave everything, how to make the anointing oil. Now, Moses just thought he was picking up the Ten Commandments, so he didn't bring a pen or anything. So it would have been nice for God to hook him up with the blueprints for all this stuff, but instead, no, he just gives him the collector's edition of the Ten Commandments and sends him away. Meanwhile, all his people saw him enter into a mountain that burst into flames and smoke, thought he was dead. So they made another god to worship and indulged in revelry. God saw this and wanted to kill them all and then make them into a great nation. Not sure how that works. Moses intervened and asked, what would the Egyptians think if you just murdered all your people? And remember you said you wouldn't do that again? God relented, and Moses returned to the people carrying this precious gift from God himself that Moses immediately smashed on the ground in anger upon hearing his people happy. Just imagine if he was carrying the baby Jesus. Then he ordered his people to grab swords and start killing each other. And everyone was blessed that killed their son or brother. And then the Lord struck them with a plague. God works in stupid ways. This was Scriptures with an Atheist.